So as we said, an indefinite strike by steelworkers over wages is now in its second week, with increasing concerns over retrenchments in the sector. Metalworker union NUMSA has rejected a revised offer of a 6% increase for artisans over a 3-year period. Lucio Trentini is the CEO of the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of South Africa. He joins me now. Lucio, thanks very much indeed for your time. So Ivan Jim of NUMSA tells us they were prepared to settle on a 6% increase, but that increase shouldn't be calculated on minimums. It must be paid on the actual rates of pay. That's their argument. Is that the main point of contention? And is that the reason why things just went array yesterday?
No, well, I mean, that is the... Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for affording us the opportunity to comment. And that is the only issue that is preventing the conclusion of the agreement. It is a matter of principle, not quantum. So we are no longer disagreeing about the numbers, and we are no longer disagreeing about the spread of the numbers. We have agreement on all those issues. And as you correctly have characterized, that the issue is one of principle. We have been consistent from day one of the negotiations, insisting that the increases must be awarded as a guaranteed personal increase to an employee's rate, calculated on the scheduled rate. And Mr. Jim is insisting that the increases be awarded to what a employer or worker is actually earning. And that is the single point that is preventing a conclusion of the agreement.
If you give in to that, does that mean that the industry now has just reached the end of the road? Will the future look unsustainable or unaffordable? Ivan Jim simply thinks that's not the case.
Well, that is precisely the case. At the moment, the offer on the table equates to, at the general labourer level, it equates to a R2.97 increase for all general labourers in our industry employed by SEIFSA federated firms. That equates to a R12,700 total cost to company. And if one compares that, for example, to the national minimum wage, which, if you do the maths, gets you to 3,700 Rand on 21.69 per hour, you know, and taking out 12,700 Rand and you work it back to a rate per hour, you're looking at 73 Rand per hour for a general labourer. So we think that the offer on the table is a fair, equitable and sustainable offer, and we hope that that NUMSA comes to the party, because, as you have correctly characterized, we are at the end of the road, and it's tragic that we are putting this industry through what it is currently going through on a matter of principle, when, quite frankly, we've agreed the numbers.
When we say reach the end of the road, Lucio, are we at that stage where, if there isn't any buy-in, we could see retrenchments? That will be heartbreaking.
Look, I mean, let's not pull any punches. We're 10 days into a strike, which has been compounded by a weak economy and trading conditions which, quite frankly, have not been very favorable to our sector. Just to give you an idea in terms of numbers, you know, 5 days into the strike, we had lost 100 million Rand in wages. Now we almost double that, because Monday will be the 10th day of the strike. And in terms of GDP, I mean, this sector contributes about 3% towards GDP, which is about 15.7 billion, and which is 11% the share of the overall manufacturing GDP. Remember, we're part of a value chain, automotive, tire, etc. And in terms of lost revenue, we're now beginning to reach R500 million in lost revenue. So an industry that is not producing and workers are not working, there inevitably will be the very high possibility of job shedding. In a sector, quite frankly, where, as a consequence of COVID, we've lost already 30,000 jobs, and that number, I'm afraid, will rise.
I suppose my final question to you, especially given the fact that we are told that in the offing could be a secondary strike certificate on its way.
Yeah, look, I mean, that would compound a very difficult set of circumstances that we're trying to manage through. Of more concern to us is the accompanying acts of violence and destruction to property, life and limb. which we've seen unfold on our TV screens and that have been reported to us by our members. Whilst we absolutely recognise the right to strike and we have no intention of undermining that constitutional right, what we can't condone is the acts of violence, intimidation, and quite frankly, thuggery. And we are in discussions as we speak with the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, NAT joints, and we will be rolling out a plan to have more people on the ground, better resourced metro police force members, ensuring that our members can still, under these difficult circumstances, continue to work and allow those employees who also want to exercise their right to continue working to be able to come to work.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Lucio Trentini, CEO of the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.